Hey, hey, Scorpio, Intuitive Soul Coach here. Welcome back if you are returning, and welcome if you're new. I'm Mel, an intuitive reader, and I'm grateful that you found me today. All right, Scorpio, let's dive in and take a peek at what is unfolding for you over the next 3 months. I'm hearing the name Taya. This could be connected to Taylor or even Ty. Some of you may have T and a Y in your name, or that could be an initial. It could also be connected to a company or an organization or even someone that you meet in the coming months. I have a feeling you are non-conforming, meaning you're breaking out of a comfort zone. If you feel like you've been walking on eggshells, or if you feel like you have felt stuck or suspended in a situation over the next 3 months, I see that there's movement, progression, and advancement towards change, which you have coming through. Your first 3 cards are major arcanas, followed by 2 more major arcanas in April. Wow. This confirms what I'm picking up on. You have the Death card here. You have the Wheel of Fortune. You have the Empress. And then come April time, you have the High Priestess and the Fool. So you are definitely going through a transformative period at this time. Now, some of you are moving into a chapter of your life that feels very, very abundant, especially when it comes to love, when it comes to connecting with other individuals that support you, that are honest, that you can trust. You do have here romance at the bottom of the deck. Yes, this can connect to marriage. Some of you may even be going through a divorce, or you have gone through some sort of an ending and you have been recovering. But I see that you're moving into a chapter where you're really able to attract the type of love that you deserve. Now, for others of you, this is about romancing your life. This is about you connecting to this heart space and attracting relationships or attracting opportunities that feel aligned with your spiritual truth, that feel aligned with the energy of trust and passion. This could even be passion projects that you are working on, that you are bringing to life. And I see that you put your heart and soul into everything that you do, Scorpio. And if trust has been severed, or if you have been betrayed, I see that it's taken a long time, because this isn't an engagement ring. I mean, some of you could be getting engaged here, but it's more of a promise ring. And it feels like you have made a pinky promise with yourself to never abandon you, to never leave you out in the cold again. And some of you may have learned that lesson the hard way through past conditioning and experiences, where sometimes we don't have the tools. Sometimes we don't know better. Right? Until we know better, we can't do better. And I see that you have integrated some of these powerful soul lessons. And what do we have right behind romance? You have new life. And that's connected to the Fool energy. So it starts with you vibrating at this energy. It starts with you romancing life and rejoining your heart center, opening yourself up to new ways of living, and viewing the world through the lens of passion, and realizing that you are not stuck in this scarcity. And as I'm talking about this, I hear the horn blaring in the background of the train. So it feels like you are unstoppable. Like there is a path, a destiny that you are moving into. And it feels like no matter what you do, you're going to get there. You're going to get there, because this is part of your trajectory. It is part of the path that you are meant to be on. So we have here in the month of February, we have creativity. And this is connected to the Empress, which we have here as well. So many of you are tapping into your creative skills. There could even be some redecorating of a new home if you have moved recently, or you're thinking about relocating. I see that many of you are cleaning out your closets. You may be decluttering. Some of you may even have a new look in the month of February as we fully move into the fire horse energy. You are feeling inspired. I see that your creativity is at an all-time high where you're bringing those ideas of yours to life. And you are thinking about your long-term future and how to sustain yourself, perhaps financially, health-wise, and even when it comes to partnerships in your world. So when creativity shows up, this is about you reinventing yourself from the inside out. And I feel like that's why death is here. I mean, death, Wheel of Fortune, Empress, this is a huge transition where many of you have gone through some sort of an ending of an old role that you had played, an ending of a cycle of your life that may have been challenging for some of you. For others of you, it feels like you are more mature, you are wiser, and I feel like you are someone who may be here to teach others love and compassion. You are here to raise the bar in some capacity. I feel like you're also breaking out of generational trauma. And I'm getting another message here regarding genetics. For those of you that have had an issue that maybe a sister or a parent or a family member has also had. So for example, if someone in your family has crossed from cancer, and you also have had a cancer scare or this has been a concern, it feels like you are dodging the bullet. It feels like something that was genetic, you are able to shift that trajectory in some way. And you, even though there may be this predisposed energy or again, genes that play into it, it feels like your environment, your lifestyle, your belief system, that is changing the trajectory. You do not have to follow in someone else's footsteps. That does not have to be your destiny. That's powerful here for some of you, especially when it comes to parenting or mothering. I feel like you're taking care of yourself. You may be cutting out old habits that were draining that beautiful energy of yours, Scorpio. And I also see that some of you are maybe working on family. Okay, this could be starting a family. You may be thinking about maybe adopting or thinking about fertility treatments if you've been wanting to start a family, or if some of you have gone through loss in that area. There are some big changes coming in here for you, and you may even be healing your sacral chakra, your womb energy. And if you have struggled with some ancestral dynamics that have played out from your mother or your parents, or, starting before you were even born, that can be the womb energy. I see that you are working on stepping out of that pattern, breaking that tie in some way. Some of you may have left home early. For others of you, you are creating an environment that is nurturing and loving, and maybe that's not something you necessarily had growing up. And even if you did come from a good home, right, there may still be some dynamics that have played out that you've been working through, okay? You've been working through here. And with this Wheel of Fortune coming in, you're breaking out of old patterns and you are shifting the wheel of your destiny here. Now, the Empress reminds you to plug into whatever creative endeavors are calling out. Some of you may be taking classes or courses. For others of you, you may want to soak in a nice, hot, long Epsom salt bath. You want to take some time for you, especially if you are a parent or a healer or, a nurturer to others. It's so very important that you plug into source energy and you take care of you, because it is okay to rest. It is okay for you to nurture the things that you want to nurture instead of putting everything of yours on the back burner. And maybe that's why I'm getting that pinky promise, because you've done that in the past. It doesn't mean that you're neglecting your responsibility. All right, kids, go fend for yourself. It just feels like you're finding that balance between you taking care of what you need to take care of, but of course you taking care of you. Because when you pour into your energy, you're going to have enough, right, for those around you. And so I see that being a big focus. You may also be stepping into this period where I see a lot of color. Okay, a lot of color. I mean, maybe some of you are painting your walls in your home. You may also be getting creative when it comes to maybe writing a book, creating oracle or tarot cards. Some of you are changing your colors of your clothing. Maybe this is artwork, tattoos, henna. I see that you may also be creating some sort of a blueprint. Maybe you are creating a home or building a home. Maybe you're redecorating. This could all be connected to your work as well, professional work. And because I'm getting this home energy, some of you may be really good at staging homes or selling homes. You may also be contemplating making some big changes within your home environment. And if you have played a role for quite some time, I see that this role of yours, even though you may have loved it, it's shifting in its energy. So for example, if you have taken care of children for the last 18 years and your youngest is moving out or going off to college, it feels like you are reevaluating what this role of motherhood means. It doesn't mean that you're no longer a mother or a father, but it means that the role is shifting. And that's where you're at, is you're like, okay, how can I get creative instead of allowing myself to be defined by that role? And now I don't know what to do with my life. You're saying, okay, this is something that I am excited to begin this new chapter, right? I'm excited to step into this new opportunity. And it doesn't have to be parenting. It could be any area of your life. Maybe it is your career for many of you. I see here that it has to do with romancing life, putting yourself out there, meeting new people. Some of you may even be widowed, all right? You may be widowed here, and you may have been wondering, are you going to find love again? Or is it okay to find love? Because sometimes I'm sure there can be guilt attached to that, or a feeling of I owe it to that person to, to maybe not meet another person so quickly, or perhaps to continue working on my own life, my own priorities here in a different aspect. But I do see that you have the ability to fall in love again, if that has been a bit of a struggle, or if it's been attached to some sort of conflict here, or pain or stress. Now, moving into the month here of March, we have Ascension. Pay attention to ascending numbers. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, whether this is in your own tarot readings, whether this is on a license plate, whether it's on a clock. Pay attention, because that is spirit reminding you that your energy is evolving, that you're leveling up, and you are about to advance. Okay, so it could be within 48 hours or 72 hours of seeing those numbers that you get a call, or that you have a divine download that sparks inspiration, and it sparks this action within you. It could even be that you are receiving some powerful channeled messages through meditation, through stillness, through even moving the body. We don't realize that by doing yoga and even moving the body, that can still the mind. I am someone who does walking meditations. I love to move my body. That actually allows my mind to rest. It allows my nervous system to get into that parasympathetic, right? The rest and digest. So this is you ascending and finding ways to stay aware of what's going on around you, but not to the point of hyper awareness or hyper vigilance or paranoia, right? It's just you being observant of your thoughts, being observant of your emotions and what's going on around you, but also you looking for signs, because what you focus on grows. So if you are looking for ways to improve your life, if you are looking for opportunity, if you are looking at the world through the lens of gratitude, guess what you are going to see, right? Whatever it is that you are focusing on. Now, you have here the 3 of Swords, you have the 7 of Swords, and you have the King of Cups. This tells me that some of you have been betrayed deeply, or you have felt a deep loss, perhaps regarding an individual that you had a strong emotional connection towards. This could be a father. Even if this relationship was strenuous or stressful, there's some sort of bond. And sometimes this can be a trauma bond, some sort of bond that you have gone through. Or it could even be that someone has crossed over and it feels very difficult. There's a lot of heartbreak and there's been some struggle, some lies, some deception around this that is something you are rising above. For example, if you have dealt with the loss of a loved one and family has been difficult to connect with in some way. Maybe there's been arguments of where allocated resources should go, or if there's been sides. It feels like someone taking sides here. I feel like you're rising above this energy and you're saying, okay, I'm going to respond through emotional intelligence and wisdom. And that's the message here of Ascension. This is maturity. This is growth. This is what would love do, right? And it feels like someone has responded out of pain. Someone has responded out of deception, out of grief. And I feel like you may have been in the crosshairs in some way. And you are advancing from that energy, okay? Yeah, it's difficult. When this 3 of Swords and 7 of Swords shows up, this definitely tells me that it's not a period that, you would wish upon anyone, including yourself, right? But sometimes we go through these situations, and that may be why the Death is here, because it does feel like you are rising above some form of adversity. You're rising above and really stepping into this Dreamweaver energy with the King of Cups. Dreamweaver is connecting to a part of yourself or even another individual that is loving, caring, kind, patient, and supportive, not untrustworthy, right? Not someone who's going to use and abuse because they know where you're vulnerable, right? They know where to work their angles towards you because they know you like the back of their hand. I feel like you have overcome some sort of heaviness that again, 3 of Swords and 7 of Swords brought in, because sometimes we are in that survival mode, as I mentioned earlier, where we don't always fight fair because we are built to survive, right? Our animalistic tendencies, our reptilian brain kicks in and we are in survival mode. And sometimes we're in survival mode for years where our adrenals are affected. Our health is affected. Our mindset, we start to focus on looking for disaster. And like I said earlier, you're starting to shift that where you're focusing on opportunity. You are calming the nervous system. You are trusting that the choices you are making are taking care of you. Right? Your pinky promise to yourself, you will not abandon you. And that may be why that 7 of Swords is here, because someone has abandoned you, or perhaps you felt like you were avoidant or numbed out, or you weren't listening to your intuition here. And that's what's shifting with this King of Cups. It's powerful and it has your name written all over it, Scorpio. You are ascending here. Your soul is advancing. So get ready because you're going to see some changes in your outer world. Come April, this is action. This is full speed ahead. So as we are fully stepping into that fire horse energy where you're not only in the saddle, right, you're starting to trot, but by the month of April, it feels like you are in the full swing of things. I remember when I was a girl, I didn't have tons of experience on horses and I was just thrown into the saddle, really not knowing what I was doing. And that horse took off and I remember hanging on for dear life. It's a surprise that I didn't get thrown off. I just hung on and prayed and I tried to blend my energy with the horse. But we know what happens when we get scared, right? We tend to freeze. We tend to not react in a way that we would if we were clear-headed. And I kind of just molded myself into the horse and eventually it started to slow down and I made it out alive, but it took me a long time to get back on that horse. So for some of you, This is you getting back up in that saddle after maybe being thrown off, right? Metaphorically, or being thrown off your game in some way, Scorpio, and moving into the month here of April. Full speed ahead, taking charge, hustle, ambition, forward movement, motivation, and energy. Your vitality is increasing. You may see a lot more movement. Some of you are relocating, traveling. This may have to do with a new vehicle for some of you. I'm getting chariot energy here where you're back in the game, right? You're back in the game and you have the high priestess, you have the fool, and you have the 5 of swords. So the fact that you have the 3 of swords, the 7 of swords, the 5 of swords with all these huge major arcanas tells me that someone's been humbled here, or you've learned a very powerful experience that has humbled you in ways where you are becoming a better version of yourself, not bitter. Because we can choose. There's so many people that become bitter based on their life circumstances, and that affects their health. It affects their body. It affects their mind. It affects relationships. And I see that there's this arrogance or pride that you are releasing or moving away from, okay, that is shifting and changing here in a way that just feels so significant because you're listening to your intuition. And some of you may have felt like the red flags had passed you by, or you didn't listen to red flags, but I want you to know this one thing here. Sometimes we are meant to move into red flags in order to learn some of our biggest lessons. And oftentimes I hear from clients, Mel, the red flags were there. I just didn't want to see them, because we are meant to learn. We're meant to evolve. And sometimes if our mind, our brain, our heart is not ready, we are going to bypass them until we learn. And that's part of life. Instead of judging your intuition and saying, intuition, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you warn me? I want you to be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself here, Scorpio, because you are about to step into the unknown. And the one thing that is required, say it with me, trust. Trusting in yourself. Don't let this mental muckery, don't let other people's projections or what other people think of you or your own mindset cause you to spin, right? Cause you to spin, because you have some powerful energies that are working in your favor. What you focus on grows. This is an action-oriented month where taking calculated risks and trusting your intuition is going to be such a powerful force behind this movement, better than any 5 of swords will be, right? This 5 of swords can sometimes be a win at all costs mentality, but I see that the intuition here is guiding you to step away from drama, to take the high road. That's why Ascension is here. You don't have to stoop to someone else's level, right? You don't have to fight for something in the same energy that someone else is fighting. I hope that makes sense. Again, stooping to their level, because you have grown. And even if someone is around you that you can't necessarily escape from, the way that you set up boundaries is up to you. The way that you respond is up to you, right? The way that you react is up to you. And I do feel like there is a fresh start. I mean, death and the Fool. You have the Wheel of Fortune. You are choosing, right, to step out of patterns, to respond differently than you have in the past. Why? Because you are different. You have matured. You have this wisdom behind you. And many of you, I also see with this struggling energy, some of you could be in the mental health care field. This could be part of your profession. Some of you could even be working with animals. I see a lot of animals here, a lot of nature, but also you may have some experience in mental health because some of your family members, right? It doesn't make anyone a professional, right? If you haven't gotten trained, but it does feel like you have some experience through lived in experience, all right? You have knowledge through that lived in experience, and you could be curious about taking that to the next level or learning more about your own mind. I see the mind very powerful here, and you could be doing maybe guided meditations, hypnotherapy, EMDR. I see reprogramming and really focusing on like the psychology of things coming through here. But also because you have 5 big major arcanas, I feel like over the next 3 months, there's a door closing and a new one opening, and it's been a long time coming for you. This may be a lesson that you've been in for quite some time, but you are stronger and braver because of going through this. And I want to share with you what's at the bottom of the deck. I don't think I mentioned this earlier. You have here, Scorpio, the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is magnetic. She is joyful and exuberant. She is beautiful inside and out. When she is on her A game, there's no stopping her. And look at this. I just noticed the cats, they are the same. And it's walking right beside this Queen of Wands. You know what's happening? Your confidence is returning. You are feeling bold. You are feeling courageous. You're feeling independent. So it's like that story I shared with you about me jumping on that horse, not knowing what I was doing, right? Young and brave. But you are jumping in the saddle, but you have experience, right? It's like you've been training, like you've rode that horse numerous times before, and now you know what you're doing. And you have this confidence because you've been doing it for quite some time. You've learned how to work with the energies of a situation around you, whether this again is your health, is your career, is your relationships, is your own mind. I see that you've been training a lifetime for this. So whatever huge advancement is showing up here for you, you're all in. And I feel like you are trusting that this is a path that you are meant to explore. And wow, you have the courage and faith of the first chakra coming through. I'm just going to pull some chakra cards for you, Scorpio, and see what chakras you are working with that may be influencing you more. Oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen this. You have all 3, and I think there's maybe 4 of the same chakras in this deck, but you have all 3 of the root, also known as the base chakras. Wow, that is crazy. You have courage and faith, independence, and instinct, and I'm going to share with you. Now, the root chakra located at our tailbone, it affects our lower region, our hips, our thighs, our knees, our ankles, our legs, our feet, our toes. Some of you may have had circulatory issues or lymphatic energy needed to be kind of shaken up here. There may have even been some surgeries or some pain in your lower extremities here, but also the root chakra is formulated between the ages of 0 and 7. So many of you have done a lot of healing or reprogramming from maybe an experience that you've had in your early years. Now you have here courage and faith, and it says this: I embrace courage, faith, and adaptability as they are needed for me to overcome my fear of change or of the future. I regularly remind myself to be positive and open to the possibilities. There's a confirmation. Didn't we hear that earlier? Knowing that I am the creator of my own destiny. I embrace the warrior within me. I remind myself to be a warrior, not a worrier. I love that. I remind myself to be a warrior, not a worrier. I am not a victim. I feel the fear and I do it anyway. I am ready and eager to move forwards. Yes, you are. So courage and faith, right? All you need is that mustard seed of faith and you're moving, right? You are moving. Next, you have independence. I know what my needs are and I actively pursue them knowing that I will be guided and provided for when I put in the effort. I am open to all possibilities and participate fully in life. I use my imagination and my vision to initiate what I wish for, and I pursue it. There's you romancing your life, Scorpio. I'm not waiting to be rescued. I am not a victim. I am strong. So there's the word victim twice. Some of you may have felt like a victim to your circumstance, right? But it feels like you're shifting that trajectory and you're saying, I'm not a victim, right? I'm becoming better, not bitter. And lastly, instinct. I trust that my instincts are correct. There's your intuition as well with that high priestess. And I let my natural intuitive feelings guide me forwards. I will know what I need to do and how to respond with wisdom to situations that come my way. I have an innate desire to be of service in this life. As I tap into this feeling, I will know what service I am called to do. I believe in myself. Scorpio, this is a powerful reading, powerful energy. I want you to claim it. Drop it in the comment section below. I'll even enter you into the free reading giveaway, right? I believe in myself. Say it out loud right now if you can. I believe in myself. Say it in your head. Drop it in the comment section below. Again, I'll enter you into the free reading giveaway, so be sure to hit that subscribe and bell button if you haven't already. And if you resonate or if you enjoyed today's reading, please do give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you are interested, Scorpio, in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video or by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com.